Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Deathstroke versus Batman and Deathstroke, issue number 30. Okay, this is weird. This is weird, but it's also Christopher Priest. All that will be explained in a moment. You might already know what I'm talking about. Okay, so basically, Batman is on this case and he sees that there's some message that was left for him. This Chuba guy, Chupacabra, this Chuba guy had left a message for him. And it turns out it's actually some DNA prints. This is going to be like an issue of Maury Povich, where it says that Deathstroke is actually Damian's father. Okay, cool. Well, he goes after Deathstroke. Now this is cool because Deathstroke is on a mission, and the mission runs straight into Batman. All right, Batman goes and kidnaps Chuba. Chuba's mission was to, Deathstroke's mission was to go and rescue Chuba. He didn't realize that Batman was actually the guy who did this. So he shows up, and they both use their technology in a way that messes with each other, and they don't actually get to go head to head with each other. But while they're doing this, like, Slade is keeping his head big time, and he's just talking through it. He's like, okay, big man, when push comes to shove, I am bigger than you, all right? And I'm a lot stronger than you. So the most you can hope to do is try and break my neck, but I'm not going to let you have the time it would take to do that. So, and more than that, you don't have the stones to do that. So why don't you just stop this nonsense and tell me what's going down? So he tells him, and he's like, yeah, I've seen these before. I've seen these results. They're doctored. Look, I know this is Talia's son, okay? And I know that he's your Robin, all right? I know all that stuff. Like, that, if I'm Batman, I'm scared. I'm ready for that, but I'm still scared when I hear it. I'm thinking Deathstroke knows everything that he needs to know to come after me, but he doesn't. But when it actually gets confirmed, that should terrify you. Like, just, oh, well, great. All of a sudden, my hair is all white. Nonetheless, it was cool because Batman goes and says, listen, you've got a reputation of always fulfilling your contracts. Nuh-uh. Deathstroke is closed, because until I have answers, I'm not letting you complete any of these contracts. I'm going to interfere with everything that you do, and basically I'm going to ruin your reputation. There's silence. Like, there's a moment where there's just pure silence, and that was perfect. That was the best. Like, honestly, not to degrade from this comic at all, but having that little pause was the best part of the whole comic, because this was intense, and this just increased. It amplified the intensity by like 40-fold. So he just looks at me, he's like, I want you to understand something. I know where you sit. Basically saying, I know who you are. I know where you live. I know the people who are close to you. If you don't want your whole life to be ruined, you better damn well stay out of my business. Batman does not back down. Slade Wilson doesn't know how to back down. This could get pretty rough. Now, the premise of this, offhand, it just sounds kind of stupid to me. I mean, a freaking DNA test, really, that Slade is even saying is doctored? Like, come on, man. This just sounds so silly to me. But any reason to get these two together, it could literally be like, you stepped on my foot. Hey, you're Slade Wilson. You're Batman. All right, let's do it. You killed my sensei. I love it. I'm down for it. So, although the concept to bring them together, to me at least, seemed pretty darn weak, I'm kind of cool with this. So I'm not going to call it Maury Povich necessarily. We'll see, though. First off, I'm going to give this comic book a B+, okay? And that's pretty solid. All right, that's pretty solid. The trick is, I read issue number 29 of Deathstroke, and Deathstroke is in Arkham Asylum. But I didn't read issues number 1 through 28. So maybe you guys who have will sit there and say, Professor Bell, nah, man. Listen, you got to read the whole series. And I will 100% agree with you. And it was my intent to try and read the whole series, but last week was rough with me on comics. Like, wow, too many comics. So, my thing is that as cool as this was, I know Christopher Priest. I know that from his Black Panther run, at least, you can't just, I think that was volume 2 of Black Panther, you can't just walk up and say, okay, I'm just going to read this story arc, or I'm just going to jump in on this issue. You can't. You have to go back and find issue number 1, and don't read any issues until you've read issue number 1. Then read issue 2, and keep going in that order. Because Christopher Priest will write out an entire story. Then he will ninja chop the entire story into multiple pieces, like smithereens. And then, I've been waiting for a chance to say smithereens on this show. Anyway, and then he will rearrange them into some weird cockamamie way and say, yeah, that's actually how you're going to read the story. So you can't just jump onto that Black Panther series. You can't. You can't do that. And I'm guessing that's the same thing here, because he went to Arkham Asylum in the previous issue. So what's going on that he's a free man? That shocked me. But then I was like, wait a second, this is Priest. Now, I don't know if this is how he's doing his Justice League story also, but this is kind of freaky. So I'm literally not going to worry about continuity so much. I'm just going to try and read this as it is and try and forgive anything that seems out of continuity. My favorite part of this, actually, was Batman and Deathstroke's mentors meeting each other. And how Alfred was on a date, and he's like, this William dude is awesome. So forget the babe. I'm going to be here hanging out with my bud. We all know the saying, bros before. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.